I'm cleaning out the garden today, and look at this. Was an eggplant root mass, and I emptied out a container. I had a fabric grow bag, and it had wool in it, whole fleeces, not pellets. And look at where these roots are growing in through the wool that was in this soil. Wool is really slow to break down, I've noticed, which is an advantage. It seems to last a couple of years at least. And it's especially slow when it's in the fleeces. When it's in the pelletized form, it's been sheared through the pelletizing process, so the particle sizes are much smaller and it breaks down more quickly. The other thing I wanted to remind you is sometimes it's best in the fall to just cut your plants off at the top of the surface of the soil and leave the roots in the soil if you're in a raised bed or in the ground, because all of this carbon, all the nutrients that are in these roots will decompose under the surface of the soil and feed the soil and feed the next generation of plants. And also, if you think about all where these roots have gone through the soil and left channels in the soil, that's a great advantage as well for airflow and water flow through the soil. So as a reminder, in this case I was emptying out these pots to look at some soil mixes, but generally if you're going to reuse that soil, or if it's in a raised bed or in the ground, just cut off the top and leave these roots to decompose over the fall and leave channels for air and water in your soil. Here's another example of where this wool, it's got kind of flattened, but the roots have gone through it, gone all in and around and through this wool, and it will continue to hold a lot of water in the soil. Remember, it holds about 4 times its weight in water, so that's a great advantage in our dry climate. And then also it's very high in nitrogen and potassium and iron and a few other micronutrients that will release very, very slowly into the soil over time. As a reminder, fungus really likes high carbon, stable materials, right? Fungus is really important for breaking down those things like wood chips and wool. There's a lot of lanolin in wool, and the fungus really likes the lanolin as well, compared to the bacteria, which generally prefer things like your sugars and proteins, your easier to decompose molecules. And so when we put high carbon amendments in our soil, it really supports the fungal organisms in there.